Hello and welcome back to Angular 2 Masterclass with Alejandro Rangel. In this section, we are going to talk about TypeScript. What is TypeScript? TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. So, in the previous section, we talked about ES6, right? That this is the next generation of JavaScript with a lot of cool features like classes, interfaces, inheritance, modules, and so on. But the problem today is that most of the browsers doesn't support all these cool features of ES6, and even if they support all these features, between browsers there are many incompatible stuff. So the implementations in one browser can be different from the other one. So I think all browsers right now are struggling with which is going to be the final draft and how to implement all these features. So TypeScript come to the picture to solve this problem. So TypeScript transpile the files, the code that we write in TypeScript, and transform this code in valid JavaScript ES5. So let's recap this again so the concept is clear. We write the code in TypeScript, and once we compile this or transpile, then the TypeScript engine will generate a valid JavaScript that can be executed in the browser. So TypeScript will offer many features like classes, inheritance, and many other stuff right now at the day of today, and then we will have compatible code with all browsers. So this is a nice way to start using ES6 without compromising the compatibility. Also, it's important to mention that TypeScript is not intrusive. That means that you can create a TypeScript file that basically it's a JavaScript file, and then you start coding normal JavaScript. You transpile this, convert the TypeScript to JavaScript, and it's going to be the same code. We will make an example of this. So what I'm trying to say with this is that your JavaScript code that you are using right now is already valid TypeScript. And the opposite is going to be the same. You write TypeScript and then it's going to be valid JavaScript. So you can start using TypeScript in your projects right now. From my personal experience, I started working with TypeScript with a very small team. And all of them were like, yeah, TypeScript right now. So what I told to them is just start using TypeScript as you are writing normal JavaScript, and then start with just a few features from TypeScript, and let's see if we like it. If not, we just have to revert back to the original JavaScript file, and that's it. So there is no major damage to start using TypeScript today. Right. So the second point, it runs in any browser, any host, any OS, and it's open source. It's a Microsoft technology. So they are the main sponsor of TypeScript, but it's open source. So you are feel free to take the source code, read it, and so on. And as I said before, you can write JavaScript and combine it with TypeScript in the same file, and you won't notice this actually. So TypeScript is a superset of ES25, 2015, or ES6 is exactly the same, and ES6 is a superset of ES5. That means that TypeScript has some features, cool features, on top of ES6, and ES6 has several cool features on top of ES5. So why TypeScript? That's a good question. So we are nice, and let's say that we can wait until all browsers said, okay, this is the final specification of ES6. So in your team, You say, yeah, well, why all this mess of using TypeScript if we can wait a little bit and then we start using just normal and plain JavaScript? Well, the point is that TypeScript is offering tooling in very big projects. So you can do refactoring easy. You have type data. We will see this later. But every data that you have in TypeScript, you can define the type, like, okay, this variable is of type number, a string, and so on. Yeah. Also, you have class, inheritance, you have autocomplete from the IDE. So all these features make our projects easy to scale. And it's optional. That means that, okay, this part of our project is getting messy, so let's make some order. Let's use TypeScript to create interfaces, classes, and so on. And it's optional. You can use it in one part of your project, but in the other one, no. This is perfectly fine in JavaScript as we have it right now. So this is why we have TypeScript right now. Why is important also TypeScript in this masterclass? Well, at some point when the Angular team announced Angular 2, they were analyzing all the possibilities of using pure JavaScript, using Dart as a core language or the core framework to write the code. And at some point then they announced something really interesting, that is, we will use TypeScript as our core technology for writing Angular 2. And from there we will generate the ES5 code, the ES6 code, and that was a major shift. And I think this was the point where the people that are following Angular 2 trajectory, then everybody said, okay, now it's the right time to start using TypeScript. For those that come from Angular 1, there is a good question, that is, can I start using TypeScript with Angular 1? Absolutely. As I said before, if you write JavaScript, this is valid TypeScript immediately. So yes, you should try to experiment with TypeScript, and you will rapidly observe all the benefits that TypeScript offers. Also, major players like Ionic for mobile development with Angular released also Ionic 2, and they told everybody, yes, you should go for TypeScript. It's optional, but it's nice to have. So it seems that the industry is shifting really fast towards TypeScript. If I'm allowed to give my personal opinion in this masterclass, I will say that you should start learning TypeScript as soon as possible. You will see the benefits of this really fast, and it's optional, so you can revert this back very fast. So, okay. Imagine that I convinced to you that you should start working with TypeScript as soon as possible. So what are the steps? Where can I start working with this? This is a slide for setting the environment, but before that, I would like to show you. This is the official TypeScript page, website, and it's typescriptlang.org. So this is an official website. They have a lot of information. They have tutorials, samples, and they have something really nice that is a playground. Yeah. So let's write our first TypeScript code and see how it behaves. So, okay. So this is our first TypeScript code. I hope that it looks familiar to you, right? So it's the same as JavaScript. That's what I'm trying to explain you. If you know JavaScript, you already know a lot of TypeScript. So this is the web of TypeScript. Feel free to take a look, to play a little bit around with it. And if you want to install TypeScript in your computer, there are several steps that you should do. The first one, you should install Node. Okay, so let's go to the Node website. So you should come here and you should select if it I'm working with Mac, but in your case, if you are working with Windows, it will say Windows, and you should download Node. Node is, to put it simple, it's a backend code for writing with JavaScript. Yeah. So the same that you do with Java or you do with C#, you can do it with Node.js. Okay, so you should install this, and after that, if you go to the console, you should have, you should have npm install. This is the Node package manager, and you can check which is the version that you have. If you successfully install Node, the next step should be go to the TypeScript page. This is the one that I showed a few minutes ago to you, and follow the instructions to install Node. So to install TypeScript. So to install TypeScript, you need to execute with administrator right. So sudo npm install. You have to install it global. So -g TypeScript. If you execute this line, you will install TypeScript, and then it's available for you to start working with it. So you just have to press enter and it will install TypeScript. I have it already installed. So once you install it, you should check if it's already in your terminal, so you can execute tsc and check the version. So as you can see, this is a version 1.7.5. This is the one that I have installed right now in my computer. Probably when you see this video, it can be 1.7.8 or 1.8, I don't know. But the important part is that you can see the version. So with this, you can check if your TypeScript is already installed. So this is the second step that you should do. We install TypeScript. And then you should, if you want to test this, let's do it. You should create a folder. Let's say my first TypeScript. So you create a folder, whatever you want. Then you should navigate to this folder from the terminal, and let's write a valid TypeScript, JavaScript file. So here we are. Let's see, var test, equal test. Yeah, you create just a file, and then let's save this in our folder. So we come to the desktop. We want to my first test. Let's say app.ts. So the ts. It's a default extension that we should use for TypeScript. Okay, so we save the file. Okay, so let's check if everything is okay. So we have here our first TypeScript code. Okay, and the next step is going to be the process of transpile. Yeah, remember this word, transpile our TypeScript file to JavaScript. So let's see what happened. If we do tsc, this is a terminal command line for TypeScript, and we specify our TypeScript file. We click enter, type enter. Yeah, voila. Then we have generated our first transpiled TypeScript to JavaScript. So let's open this generated file. Yeah, so this is the app.js. Let's open the app.js. I want to convince you about this. We will open this with Visual Code Studio just to compare. So, okay, so in the final JavaScript file is this one, and this is the TypeScript. So that means that if you have any JavaScript code, you can copy and paste and just rename the file, and then you are already working with TypeScript. Okay. So this is super important. Don't be afraid. Sometimes when we have to try a new framework, it's a little bit scary, like, oh, the setup process is so complex. So that's everything that you need to do to start working with TypeScript today. Yeah. So to finish with this section, I was mentioning that TypeScript wants to offer tooling options for JavaScript developers. If you have developed JavaScript for a long time, you have realized that it's much difficult to debug, to detect errors in JavaScript than any other language, right? So you can launch your website, and at some point, oh, I was passing a number when I was expecting a string in a function. Nobody is going to tell you this when you are coding, so you have to remember the values. Oh, this is a string, this is a constant, this function is an object, and so on. So all this makes the life for JavaScript developers super difficult, and TypeScript comes to the rescue of us because of that. So you can start using several IDEs that works really nice with TypeScript. So we have Visual Studio. This is paid, yeah. Then we have Sublime Text plus TypeScript plugins. We have WebStorm, and also Microsoft launched Visual Code Studio. This is for free. And this is the one that I have here open. It's kind of the style of Sublime Text, so it's really minimalistic. You have the minimum to start working, but if you have worked with tools from Microsoft, the IDE from Microsoft normally are super good. See you in the next video.